others of the four temperaments. Some of the negative traits are the choleric tends to be irritable, quick-tempered, yet their personality makes them productive and purposeful. The popular sanguine or otter, it's easy to spot the popular sanguine. He makes grand entrances and is the life of every party. That person is an extrovert who loves to tell funny stories and be the center of attention. That person is warm and loving, enjoys everything about life. It's easy for something to warm that person's heart and cause an outburst of response. That person is usually cheerful and bubbly, but sometimes could appear to be phony or come on too strong. And usually, sometimes may speak before they think, but can be sincere and loving. They usually live for the moment and go with the flow. In their energy and enthusiasm, they are also quickly distracted. They can tend to be selfish and irresponsible, but it's lovable that their friends can easily ignore their weaker tendencies. The peaceful phlegmatic or the golden retriever. A phlegmatic person is a peaceful person, easygoing, happy-go-lucky. The phlegmatic wants to stay out of trouble and get along with everybody. She or he is enjoyable to be around, but is laid back and doesn't get too excited about much. She's an introvert or he's an introvert who loves peace and quiet. And you won't often find her in trouble or him in trouble with authority, because they will do anything to avoid fights and quarrels and sometimes arguments. They naturally have dry humor, and their wittiness keeps their companions laughing constantly. They don't get ruffled about much, and the same consistent caring person, every time you see them, that's them. They tend not to get too involved in things and would rather sit back and take in the action. But when aroused, they are competent and efficient. The phlegmatic person is gracious and kind to all. They love everybody and are very sensitive and, can blend in well. Then last but not least, there are usually about 7 to 16 types, but the basic four types. The perfect melancholy or the beaver. The melancholy is a perfect person who wants everything to be done properly and in order. They are systematic and labor over details. Typically an extreme introvert. They are reserved and prefers long, quiet conversations. They are constantly analyzing themselves and others and can be prone to depression. The melancholy usually detests group gatherings and doesn't seek to make new acquaintances. They have few friends to whom they are extremely faithful. Self-sacrifice is a great pleasure for the melancholy person, and they feel things very intensely, though you wouldn't always know it. As a thinker and philosopher, facts roll easily off their tongue of the studious melancholy person. They would rather read or study than interact with others. As we said before, their nature is to be a perfectionist, which also makes them prone to procrastination and legalism, yet they are very organized and self-disciplined. So, to basically sum it up, a natural personality controlled by the Holy Spirit will look something like this. So as we said, the sanguine person or the otter is the popular person. If you look at the sanguine, if you watch nature shows, you see the otter is always, showing off, swimming around, having a good time, the party person. So a person like that will show strength of character in the self-control that they need in their life, because sometimes the sanguine person can lack self-control. The choleric or the lion will be dynamic in his or her love, peace, gentleness, and goodness. Remember, we said one of the negative traits of a choleric person is that they can be very hard and insensitive and cold, right? So a personality under the control of the Holy Spirit is that they will be loving and peaceful and gentle and good. The melancholy person will have joy and peace, which will revolutionize his or her outlook, because a melancholy person can tend to be pessimistic, have or a glass always empty outlook on life, or half empty. The golden retriever will become less stubborn, less fearful, and less indifferent, while becoming more open, self-controlled, and much more motivated to make a great personable leader for Christ. So learning about personality types early helps make the ins and outs of interacting with others at home, your friends, at work, at church, even when we go on trips. You know, you hear a lot of people fall out when they go on trips because this person does this person does that, If we understand early about the different personalities that we are interacting with, it will alleviate some problems that we come into contact with. Please remember that our natural tendencies are not an excuse for dysfunctionality. So many people say, well, that's how I am. I'm cold, I'm indifferent, I don't care, you know, I'm too lazy to get up and do this, or I'm not listening to what you're saying. Those natural tendencies, they're not an excuse for those things are dysfunctionalities. And we need to understand that as people who are pursuing Yeshua, who are trying to mature and grow, we have to make an effort to grow spiritually and in these areas. So we have to recognize our strengths and we have to recognize our weaknesses, right? A lot of us love to focus on our strengths and we neglect our weaknesses, and sometimes it gets us into trouble. We must be balanced people. Maturity must be what we all should strive for, and we have to appreciate the way other people think and exercise grace. If we look at creation, if we look at just human beings on the whole, we understand that God didn't make every one of us choleric, so he didn't make every one of us otters, he didn't make every one of us beavers. He loves variety. When we look at nature, there's variety. So we have to learn to get along with each other. We have to learn to understand people and, you know, really let that light of Christ come forth. Okay? So, having said all of that, those of you who have the test, just take about 5-10 minutes to go through it. The instructions are there. Can I have mine, please? The instructions are there. It says choose the item in each line that is most like you and put a 4. Then pick the item that is next most like you and put a 3, then 2, then 1, which is least like you. Do this across the page for each list of descriptors. Then you're going to total the lines as you go down. So let's say for number 1, let's say you're a person who your strength is you like instruction, you know that is who you are beyond a shadow of a doubt, you put a number 4. If you know you like authority, but to the extent where it's not like a 4, you put a 3. If you know that you're certainly not an enthusiastic person and you don't get excited about much or anything at all, then that's a 1. And then 2, you have your whatever. Are we clear? Am I clear? Yes? Okay. And then you tally up and as you go down.
Press.